You don't owe anyone your body. Consent, pressure, and power. Intro. Reclaim your right to say no. Girls are taught to be good, to be agreeable, to smile through discomfort, to make others feel comfortable, even at the expense of their own safety. But Artemis does not teach obedience. She teaches protection. She teaches sovereignty. She teaches the sacred power of no. If you have ever hesitated to reject someone because you didn't want to seem mean, if you have ever felt pressure into saying yes when everything in you wanted to say no, if you have ever stayed silent to keep the peace, this message is for you. Welcome, Sacred Soul. I am Shadow Moon, priestess, oracle, and head mistress here at the Dark Mother Mysteries, where we honor the divine Dark Mother, reclaim our sovereignty, and restore our sacred boundaries. If you are reclaiming your power, rejecting societal conditioning, and walking the sovereign path of the Dark Feminine, you are home. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Today, got about Artemis, the fish protector goddess. We're dismantling the dangerous myth that you owe your body or your energy to anyone. Let's begin. Lesson one: the cultural grooming of girls and women to be nice instead of safe. From early childhood, girls are subtly taught to prioritize politeness over protection. We learn that comfort, safety, and intuition come second to making others feel comfortable. We're praised for ignoring our gut instincts, for smiling through discomfort, and for saying yes when our hearts scream no. But Artemis, goddess of the wild and protector of the vulnerable, teaches us a crucial lesson. You don't have to be nice if nice means sacrificing your safety. Being polite should never trump being protected. Artemis invites you to break free from the chains of quote unquote niceness that risk your well being. Lesson two: Artemis rage at violation. Why saying no is holy. In ancient myths, Artemis is not just the huntress, she is the avenger. She fiercely guards her sovereignty. When her boundaries are violated, her response is swift and severe, not because she's cruel, but because she understands the holiness of boundaries. Saying no is more than refusal, it is a sacred act of honoring your divine right to autonomy. When a man saw her naked without her permission, she turned him into a stag and let his own hounds devour him. That's not cruelty, that's consequence. Just as Artemis transformed a violator into prey for his own hounds, your no transforms you from the victim to protector. Your no is holy, a sacred affirmation of your right to control your body and your destiny. Recognizing coercion, manipulation wrapped in romance. Whew, okay, y'all. So let's talk about manipulation and shine a light on coercion disguised as love. Before we do, let's define what each of these words mean. So, manipulation is the act of influencing or controlling someone or something to your advantage, often without anyone knowing it. It involves an attempt to control someone else. The person doing the manipulating, called the manipulator, seeks to create an imbalance of power and takes advantage of you to get power, control, benefits, and or privileges. Coercion refers to the act of compelling someone to act in an involuntary manner by using threats, force, or intimidation. It involves a set of forceful actions that violate an individual's free will to induce a desired response. These actions can include extortion, blackmail, torture, or even psychological abuse. The key principles. Coercion refers to the act of making someone act involuntary by using threats, force, or intimidation. It involves actions that override an individual's free will to elicit a specific response. These actions can include extortion, blackmail, torture, or psychological pressure. So, types of coercion. Yeah, I just repeated the same thing. Sorry. I'm just realizing with my notes that I typed the same thing twice. Listen, here at the Dark Mother Mysteries, we are not perfect. So you know what? We mess up and we do what? We move on. Okay. Okay, so types of coercion. Physical coercion. This involves the use of physical force or threats of bodily harm to compel action. Common examples include putting a gun to someone's head or using a knife to threaten. Psychological coercion. This encompasses threats to an individual's relationship or emotional well being. Examples include blackmail, emotional manipulation, inducing feelings of guilt or obligation. Then you have sexual coercion, and this is the act of exerting pressure, threats, alcohol, drugs, or force to compel an individual to engage in sexual activity against their will. This can manifest in various forms, including verbal and emotional manipulation, and may occur even if the individual ultimately consents due to the pressure applied. It is characterized by non consensual sexual activity, often involving persistent attempts to achieve sexual contact despite refusal. And so this is like whenever you could be with a man and you don't want to have sex with him, but he keeps pressuring you, threatening you. He might just keep on badgering you about having sex, and you start to feel like you can't say no. And so that's what sexual coercion is. And the reason I sought to thoroughly examine the types of manipulation and coercion is that far too often we as women remain unaware of what is occurring until it is too late. This is because such behavior does not always resemble violence. It does not always manifest as overt aggression. Instead, it's frequently disguised in sweet or kind words and subtle or gentle pressures like, it looks like if you love me, you would. That's what a man will say to you, trying to pressure you. It sounds like, don't you trust me? Or he may say, we've been together long enough, so you should. Or I thought you loved me. Or they may say, everyone else is doing it. It hides behind, but we've already done so much together. Or let me tell you another thing. It might be, oh, let me just put the tip in. I had to pause because I don't know how many times I fell for that whenever I was younger. But that is sexual coercion. um, Coercion and manipulation often shows up wearing the costume of love, but Artemis will help you see through it. Understand this clearly. Love never manipulates. Love never coerces. Love honors and respects your boundaries. If you ever feel like you're being cornered, guilted, pressured, or emotionally manipulated into saying yes to something you don't feel safe doing, that is not love. That is control, and your body is not a bargaining chip. If someone pressures you under the guise of love, remember Artemis' fierce clarity. You don't owe anyone access because they were nice. You don't owe anyone your body because they waited. And you don't owe anyone intimacy because they spent time with you. The hell? You are not obligated to offer your body or your intimacy to anyone, no matter how much they attempt to sweet talk you. Lesson 4. You are not selfish for protecting your energy and your body. The world might label you selfish or difficult for holding your boundaries. Y'all, let them. Artemis didn't walk through the forest seeking approval. She walked in it for her own protection. Artemis teaches us that protecting your body, your energy, and your emotional peace is a radical act of self love. You are not selfish for saying no, you are sovereign for saying no. You are wise for listening to your intuition. Your body is your sacred temple, and only you hold the keys. No one is entitled to enter without your enthusiastic, wholehearted consent. Never betray yourself for someone else's comfort or treatment. Artemis walks behind the woman who chooses herself, who listens to who listens to her gut over guilt, who knows that love doesn't come at the cost of self-betrayal. So if you've ever been made to feel like you owe someone your body, even if you've ever felt pressure where you should have been feeling peace, let Artemis guide you back home. Listen, you don't owe anyone your body, not your time, not your energy, not even your silence. Walk forward boldly, divinely protected, and fiercely loved by Artemis, the goddess who always fought for girls and women just like you. Until next time, this is Shadow Moon, Priestess, Oracle, and Headmistress of the Dark Mother Mysteries, signing off. Class is dismissed.